Hey guys, welcome back to Flat Creek Outdoors. I'm Phil. Thanks for checking out the channel today. Right behind me is our shed. This is a 10 by 20 shed. It's the only structure that we have on our property out here, and over the last 2 years we've slowly been improving the shed. We got electric installed about 1.5 years ago. This past year we got internet installed. Been working on shelving and pegboard and other organization on the inside. And over time we've accumulated a lot of tools and equipment and parts and supplies and other stuff that has really filled this shed up. So that's a whole other issue. So what I wanted to talk to you today about is one tool that I think is often overlooked in a workshop area, and unless you have one of these things, you really don't realize how often you're going to use it. So I have not had one of these until recently, and the one that I have is secondhand. I got it from my dad. He recently downsized and got rid of a lot of stuff in his workshop, and I was able to acquire a couple things that I can put to use out here. And anyway, my thing that I'm going to share with you here in a minute needs a little bit of modification, so I'm going to do that today. I'll talk to you some more about how I use this thing, and then I'll share with you some more stuff that we got going on here in the shed, because we need to make better use of the space here. So follow along, it's going to be a fun one. So there on the ground is a new cabinet that we got secondhand from a neighbor of ours. I need to do some assembly and repair on that, but that's going to go in here because, like I mentioned, this shed is really full and really disorganized. Despite some of our best efforts to get organized, we just keep acquiring more stuff and it gets full in here. So right now things are kind of moved around because I'm planning on putting that new shelf right here where the small black shelf is, and all this small stuff is going to go inside that new shelf or that new cabinet. Over here's my workbench where I just put this together last year, got a pegboard, got some tools. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is this right here. That is a simple bench vise. And if you've got a workshop and you need to fix stuff occasionally, this is one of the most valuable tools, I believe. So like I mentioned, this is one that I got secondhand from my father. And the modification I need to make on this is these little, I don't know what you call them, but these little prongs down here, which are made for grabbing onto something that's like round, if you put a piece of pipe or something in there. Anyway, they stick out too far. They stick out just a little bit farther than these jaws here. And when I put my chainsaw bars in here, these little teeth here grab on the chain and I'm not able to move it when I'm trying to sharpen my chainsaw. So I brought with me my grinder today. I'm going to pull this thing apart. I'm going to try to grind these down, and then I'm going to try to get my chainsaw in here, get it sharpened up because I want to use it today. Here's what we're going to use today. Just a simple cordless Porter cable grinder. Got 2 battery packs should I need it. These batteries are actually getting a little old. They don't keep that great of a charge anymore. I can see here that those little prongs still protrude out just a little bit. Try to grind them just a little bit more. These jaws were a little rough just from years of use, so I took the grinder to the corners and reshaped those corners and took off any big burrs or dents or gouges that were on the clamping part of the jaws here, and I think that really cleaned it up pretty nice. So I'm going to grab one of my saws now and make sure these little claws that are down here that I ground down, make sure that they're out of the way, and we'll be good to go. Oh yeah, perfect. I should have taken a video before to show you, but those little paws stuck out just enough. They would catch the rivets on the chain and they wouldn't let it turn, and there was nowhere I could clamp it to kind of get past those little jaws. So now it does exactly what I want. I'll be able to file on this, get these nice and sharp. Well, there we go. That bench vise sure makes a lot of things easier. Since I installed it a couple weeks ago, I've used it for straightening some bent pins. I used it to hold something while I was drilling out a rusty screw. I used it to sharpen the chainsaws. And anyway, it is a huge help in the shop, especially if you do a lot of stuff on your own. You don't have an extra set of hands around to hold things for you. That bench vise, just like any other kind of clamp, is a huge help in holding things steady. And you saw me use the clamp when I was grinding on the on one of those prongs. I had to clamp the one side of the vise to the vise so that it wouldn't move. Anyway, I like clamps. Clamps are a big help in the shop too, but the bench vise, I think, is the most undervalued thing in the workshop. And if you don't have one, you don't know what you're missing. And if you do have one, you already know, like, yeah, you probably use it all the time, and it is hugely important. I tell you what, I wouldn't mind having a bigger one. I think that's a little, like, 4-inch vise. I think they measure it based on the top of the jaw. And I wouldn't mind having a bigger one, because especially if I put my bigger saw on there, that little vise just doesn't quite have the strength to hold the saw up. But anyway, it'll serve my purpose for now. I'll keep an eye out on flea markets and yard sales and that kind of thing for maybe a good quality bigger one, and I'll upgrade in the future. But yeah, that is the tool that I wanted to share with you today. And you can see in our shop there, we've got so much more work to do in organizing the shed and just kind of building it out further. But it's serving the use, it's serving the purpose. It's holding all our stuff, keeping critical things dry. It's kind of our base of operations with all of the repair work and the storing of our small parts and tools and all that kind of stuff. It's doing everything we needed to do, but no doubt are we going to need a bigger building out here at some point. I don't know when that's going to be, but at some point. Well, thanks for watching this short little video about the most underrated tool in the workshop. I appreciate you watching. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure you hit the like button on this video. Hit subscribe to see all of our future videos. We've got a 43-acre property out here in Central Virginia, and we do a lot of work around the property to do firewood and property maintenance and cutting trails and lots of other stuff. And if you like that, you'll want to subscribe and see some of our future stuff. So thanks for watching today, spending a little time with me. I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.